Welcome back. So today we got the results, exit polls at least, of the German elections. This was one of the most anticipated elections probably of this year. There's also Canada coming up, but the CDU, the Christian Democrats and the Christian Social Union got about 30% of the votes, which they were supposed to get. And AfD got 20%, 19.5 to 20, what they were also expected to get. And the biggest loss was the SPD, the Social Democrats. They got 16 to 16.5%. The Greens, 12 to 13.5%. Die Linke, the left, 8.5 to 9%. The Free Democrats, 4.9. And then BSW, I don't really know BSW, but yeah, so now the most interesting part is who gets into a coalition with each other. I know beforehand the CDU said that they don't want to work with AfD, and they all said they would make a firewall against the AfD. But SPD was the previous administration, so getting into an alliance with them, also public sentiment wouldn't be that good. And now we wait. So I'm watching from America also, and I got into this like a week ago, so I'm trying to pick up on how German elections work. The Bundestag. So let's see. Potential coalition scenarios. Forming a government in Germany requires a majority in the Bundestag, which has 630 seats. Meaning a coalition needs at least 316 seats. No single party is close to that based on these exit polls, so coalitions are inevitable. The key question is which parties can realistically work together given their ideological positions and stated red lines. CDU, the CSU, plus SPD, the Grand Coalition. Feasibility is high, apparently. And have a long history of forming grand coalitions, most recently under Angela Merkel. But also, you gotta take into account, they were more popular back then. This is the worst election for SPD since World War II. Their combined votes could be around 45%, likely translating to a majority of seats. Pros, both are pragmatic-centric parties. We don't need to hear that. CDU and CSU plus Greens, low to moderate. So together the CDU, CSU, and the Greens might hit around 42%, but this likely falls short of a majority unless seat distribution skews favorably. A black-green coalition has precedent at the state level, but it's trickier nationally. That's true. That is true. And then if it falls short, then they might need to add a third group. And then if they add a third group, that'll make it harder to get along with everybody. So the third scenario is CDU, CSU plus SPD and one smaller party. Feasibility is moderate. If the Grand Coalition alone doesn't secure 316 seats, possible if more parties like Die Linke, FDP, or BSW enter parliament. A third partner could tip the scales. FDP and the Greens are the most likely. But like I said, that adds like another headache, because then you have to deal with three different coalition groups that have different ideas. So. And then the fourth one is the CDU and CSU plus AfD. Effectively zero is the feasibility. Despite the AfD's strong showing, all major parties, including the CDU, CSU, have vowed to uphold the Cordon Sanitaire, which is like the red line, against the far-right AfD. Merz has repeatedly ruled out cooperation, even after controversy over migration vote, where AfD support helped pass CDU proposal. This is what I'm talking about. Like, I hear what he's saying, that they wouldn't get into a coalition with AfD. But when I think about it, I'm like, they align more closely to AfD than the other parties. As an American, I don't know. You can correct me, Germans in the chat. But I just don't understand why they would risk going into a partnership with SPD or the Greens when public sentiment is changing. They obviously want to go in a different direction. That'll just postpone the downfall, right? As opposed to if they just go with the AfD, that's already where public sentiment is shifting. They had the biggest boost from, I think it was a 9.5 point boost. So obviously public is moving that way, and SPD lost a lot of support. So I think that's what they should do. But we'll see. We're going to keep updated throughout the day. because these are just exit polls. They might update a tad later on, from what I've heard. So yeah, thanks for stopping by. Like and sub.